Hey you guys, Coach Jonathan here. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about wall walk efficiency and progression. So first off with efficiency, we want to make sure we're checking off a couple boxes. First, we want to make sure we're practicing good active shoulders. And what that means is we're actively pressing through our hands into the ground and trying to make kind of a little bit of a hollow shape. So if I were to turn to the side here, let's pretend I'm on the ground here. Okay, if I wanted to practice active shoulders, I would press through my shoulder blades down through my hands into the floor just like that. My upper back looks a little bit rounded right now, but that's okay. Second thing we want to make sure we're practicing is something called midline stabilization. Okay, it's a fancy term for make sure you're squeezing your core and staying engaged the entire time. So if we're going to be planking or going inverted into a handstand against the wall, or even working on a freestanding handstand, we want to make sure we're keeping our core nice and tight so that we're able to stay nice and rigid and our body is able to be more stable inverted. When we're talking about wall walks and how to begin working on that progression, first thing you want to make sure you're checking off is a solid plank. Okay, if you're a beginner or someone who's brand new to this, we're going to start you off with a front plank, and that's just as simple as the start at the top of your push-up position. Okay, again, practicing active shoulders, making sure you can press through the ground and keep your core nice and tight. The next progression from that is what we call our wall plank. That's where we keep our hands right in the same spot that they were for the front plank, but now our feet are going to travel up the wall as far up as they can. As they go higher and higher, you're going to notice that you need to press even harder through your shoulders to stay active, okay? You're going to want to resist the temptation to break those elbows, and you want to make sure you're just locking them out and pressing nice and hard through the ground, okay? The next progression from that, once you've shown mastery that you can hold good midline stabilization, active shoulders through the wall plank, now we will introduce some movement. When we introduce movement, we want to make sure we're still practicing those two themes of active shoulders and midline stabilization. So the next movement is called a two-step wall walk. It's where you will start in your front plank, then put your feet on the wall as high up as they'll go, and then once they've reached the highest point that they can without your hands moving, now you'll take 2 steps back with each hand, okay? However far you get is as far as you get. After that, all that's left to do is continue walking all the way back to the wall. So if you've shown mastery of good active shoulders, good midline stabilization, and you're able to maintain that through the 2-step wall walk under fatigue, then you can start practicing some full range of motion wall walks. If you're someone who's struggling with the idea or the concept of maintaining active shoulders and midline stabilization as you begin to move your hands back, then we can even have you work on something like a shoulder tap in the wall plank position, just to introduce the idea of movement in general. If shoulder taps are challenging, we can also do something like a hand tap or something as simple as just picking our hands up off the ground. There's a bunch of variations with the wall walk. It's a great movement for you to develop great active shoulders, good midline stabilization, and it helps you work on some skill work. Thanks, guys.